To derive the image formation for spherical surfaces, had taken the pointed source of object O in the rarer medium. Let us consider the refractive index of the medium in which the object is placed as N1. What is N1? Refractive index of the medium in which object is placed. Clear? Now I am going to draw the expected ray diagram, and here I will consider it as the denser medium. So here this is the point of incidence. So here you will get the normal, which I explained in the previous video. This is the normal, and this point is the center of curvature, and you will get the normal, you will get the refracted ray towards the normal. Let us consider you got the image on the principal axis as I shown. Is it clear? And let us consider the refractive index of the medium which is opposite to the medium of N1, that is N2. I will consider N2 as refractive index of the medium in which image is formed. Remember children, in this medium, nothing but in this medium you may get the image or may not get the image. Is it clear? Remember that. Anyhow, I had considered the image is formed in this medium only. And coming to the pole or optic center, this is optic center or pole P. The distance from pole to object nothing but object distance, which is denoted by small u. Coming to the image distance Pi, which is denoted by small v. Coming to the radius of curvature, PC is nothing but radius of curvature, that is nothing but R. Now apply the sign conventions children. In the previous video itself I explained that you need to take the incident ray from the object towards the refracting surface or reflecting surface. So this is the direction of the incident ray. So PO is nothing but object distance. It is opposite to the incident ray. Why? Because you should move in this direction. So this will be negative. Coming to PC, you should move in the same direction that of the incident ray. So the radius of curvature and the image distance both you will get as positive. Is it clear? And coming to the angle of incidence and angle of refraction, the angle between the incident ray and normal you should consider as angle of incidence I. The angle between the refracted ray and normal you should consider angle of refraction. Now I am going to draw a perpendicular line on the principal axis from the point A. This point where the perpendicular line met the optical axis or principal axis I consider as P dash. Now I consider angle alpha here, angle beta here, and angle gamma here. Is it clear? Understood? Now I am applying Snell's law children. What is Snell's law? So in order to apply the Snell's law, I had taken the refracting surface of plane, and let us consider this is the incident ray, this is the denser medium, the light ray is traveling from rarer medium to denser medium, and this is the refracted ray. This is the angle of incidence and this is the angle of refraction. Let us consider this angle, refractive index is N1, this refractive index is N2. Now apply the Snell's law. Sin I divided by sin R is equal to, sin I divided by sin R is equal to opposite medium refractive index divided by same medium refractive index, which I had explained in previous videos of refraction of light at plane surfaces. You should remember this. Sin I by sin R is equal to N2 by N1. Same terms I had taken here also. So I will write the equation for Snell's law. From Snell's law, sin I divided by sin R is equal to n2 by n1. From this I will write as n1 sin I is equal to n2 sin R. Now I am going to be take the triangle OAC. In triangle OAC, carefully observe children, I am going to be draw the triangle OAC. So you will get the triangle like this. So this is the triangle OAC. Here you will get the angle of incidence. This is the alpha and this value you got as beta. So if at all you observe the triangle, alpha and beta are the interior angle, angle of incidence is the exterior angle. So as per the rule, exterior angle is equal to sum of the opposite interior angle. So I can be written as alpha plus beta from triangle OAC. In the similar way, in triangle AIC, this is the representation of triangle. You have the triangle like this, and this is the point A, this is the point C, this is the point I. So this is the angle of gamma, and this is the this is the angle of refraction, and this is the exterior angle beta which present at C side. So this is the angle R and this is the angle gamma. Don't get confused children. So beta is the exterior angle and R and gamma are the opposite interior angles to this beta. So beta can be written as R plus gamma. From this equation, R can be written as, what you got? R can be written as beta minus gamma. Is it clear? So just I am rubbing the diagram. So from triangle AOC, what did you got? I is equal to alpha plus beta. In the similar way, from triangle AIC, you got R is equal to beta minus gamma. Let us consider these two equations are A and B. Now and let us consider this equation as 1. Now I am substituting equation A and B in equation 1. What will you get? In place of I, you need to write alpha plus beta. Then equation 1 become as n1 sin I value is alpha plus beta, which is equal to n2 sin R. n2, in place of sin R, I am going to be write beta minus gamma. See, now I am applying paraxial approximation technique. Paraxial approximation technique. So during the paraxial approximation technique, you should write P dash is approximately equal to P and sin theta is approximately equal to theta. So then the equation 2 will become as n1, so sin theta, alpha plus beta value as theta. So you will get sin theta can be approximate to theta. So alpha plus beta you will get, which is equal to n2 divided by, n2 times of, this is the value of theta. So you will get beta minus gamma. Is it clear children? Now from the triangle, right angle triangle, I am going to be take P dash A. From P dash A, O, at the angle, at the O you have the angle alpha. Tan alpha can be written as P dash A, tan theta can be written as opposite side divided by adjacent side. So opposite side value is P dash A divided by P dash O. Now I am doing paraxial approximation technique for tan alpha. So whenever you are doing the paraxial approximation technique, tan theta also expressed as theta. So in the theta value here you will have alpha. So alpha is equal to, and moreover P dash should be approximate to P. So in place of P dash you need to write PA divided by PO. So what is the value of alpha you got? Alpha is equal to PA divided by PO. In the similar way, in the right angle triangle, P dash A C, the angle at C is beta. Tan beta can be written as opposite side by adjacent side. So you should write P dash A divided by P dash C. Now I am applying the paraxial approximation technique. Beta, in place of theta you have beta, so beta can be written as PA divided by PC, and moreover P dash can be approximate to P. So beta you got as PA divided by PC. In the similar way, in the triangle P dash AI, this is the angle of gamma at I. So tan gamma, I am writing the expression for tan gamma. Tan gamma is nothing but opposite side divided by adjacent side. What is the opposite side value? P dash A divided by P dash I. Adjacent side value is P dash I. So whenever you apply the paraxial approximation technique, gamma can be written as, in place of P dash you need to write P, PA divided by PI. So what is the value of gamma you got? Gamma is equal to PA divided by PI. Let us consider this equations as C, D, F. See, clear children? Now I consider this equation as 3. For the sake of space I am rubbing this. Now substitute C, D and F in equation 3. What will you get? N1 in place of alpha you need to write PA by PO, plus in place of beta you need to write PA divided by PC, which will be is equal to N2 times of beta. PA divided by PC minus gamma. Minus is there, minus, that's why I kept minus here. PA by PI. If at all you observe all the numerators, in all the numerator you will get PA as common. Directly I am striking out that. So in all the numerators PA will get cancelled. Then what will you get now? N1 divided by 1 by PO plus 1 by PC, which will be is equal to N2 times of 1 by PC minus 1 by PI. Now I am substituting PO, PC, PI values. What is PO? Object distance. Object distance is nothing but 1 by minus U. Why? Because I am applying the sign conventions. Plus 1 by C value is how much more? PC plus R, which will be is equal to N2 times of 1 by PC, 1 by plus R minus 1 by PI. PI value is plus V. The terms you got as N1 divided by 1 by minus U plus 1 by R, which is equal to N2 times of 1 by R minus 1 by V. I am expanding the terms I am expanding the term minus N1 by U plus N1 by R is equal to N2 by R minus N2 by V. Now I am bringing R terms one side and remaining terms to another side. At RHS side you have minus N2 by V. If at all you bring N2 by V minus N1 by U is equal to N2 minus N1 by R. This is the equation for spherical surfaces. See, if at all you had taken the plane refracting surface, what is the radius of plane refracting surface? Which will be infinity. So this term will become 0. N2 by V minus N1 by U is equal to 1 by infinity. 0. This is the term for plane refracting surface. This is the formula for spherical refracting surface. And whenever you are applying these two formula, again you need to apply sign conventions. Thank you.